Everyone. This is the Fantasy Facts podcast presented by Fantasy Data. I'm at Dynasty_Pat. I'm joined by at FF, the at home dad. Tonight we are talking 2022 NFL draft, fantasy football draft strategies, where we're going to do a live draft on Sleeper, go through some of the strategies and kind of break down what we're doing and why. We'll answer your questions in the Fact Attack. Make sure you give the show a follow. We're at the Fantasy Facts on Twitter. And you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, really anywhere you listen to your podcast, that's where you can find us.
These are the Fantasy Facts with your hosts, Pat Loftus and Seth Keller.
Man, it is good to be back. I was joking.
You've been gone for a while.
My life, I moved. Life happened, it just things happened. So
it's understandable.
But it is good to be back. It's good to be doing the show. We are joined by a special guest. We'll bring him in just a minute. I'm going to leave that actually up to you, Mr. Producer. I don't know. When do we want to bring him in? I can see him. We can see him down at the bottom here. Just waiting.
And he's just making funny faces at us. Yeah. But let's go ahead and bring him in right now then. The one and only Shane Barrett at FF Shane B, kicking off a new podcast, doing lots of great work with Poly's Playoffs. If you haven't gotten the chance to get in it this year, hopefully you get in it next year, and you can do some really great stuff for Alzheimer's and just have a good time playing with people. I know I'm enjoying it. Shane, go ahead and tell the good people all that you got going on. And welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, guys, for having me. As you guys both know, I love coming on this show. You are two of my favorite people to podcast with, so I am happy to be here. You guys can find me on Twitter at FFShaneB. My show really just kind of rebranded from the Fantasy Nightcap to Red Zone Redemption. You can find that on Twitter at FFRZRedemption. I won't talk about it too much, but I'm 5 weeks sober today. And so made a lifestyle change, and kind of hard to podcast with an alcohol theme when you're sober. So switched it up a little bit there. And you can find that on also all of your podcasting networks and rotoheat.com. I am the new audio editor at RotoHeat. So doing all of the audio editing for my show and all their shows. So looking forward to that. And then, Poly's Playoff. I am still trying to decide if I'm going to be like Scott Fish and open the registration for next year early while we're still hot, but haven't figured that out yet. Probably won't. I like opening it up around the beginning of the year, around the Super Bowl. People are excited and sad about football leaving, so it's like, sign up. You've got something to look forward to. But if you also want to help support Alzheimer's, I am in Pros with Joe's year 3. And obviously my charity is the Alzheimer's Association. So if you actually want to co-manage a team with me, you can go to Pros with Joe's and make a donation in my name and be entered to potentially co-manage a team with me, draft with me, and rock and roll that way. Come on, Pat.
I'll do it. I'm in.
Yeah, I will. I'll send you guys the link
please do.
for me, and if anyone wants to, you can just DM me or go to Pros with Joe's Twitter handle.
Awesome.
Good. Awesome stuff. Well, before we get into the show, we do have a little bit of business to take care of. So we've got a code with our friends over at Underdog. That code is FAQS, FAQS. Use that for a 100% deposit match up to your first $100 deposit. And we have a code with our good friends over at fantasydata.com. Use the code FAQS, fantasydata.com, and receive 20% off your subscription purchase. Shall we go, Seth? You ready?
I'm ready. Are we ready?
We didn't test the drops, but do you have one for the opening question? Is it queued up and ready to go?
I do. And Shane, don't feel bad. With your 5 weeks sober, don't mind my little graveyard over here. But it's okay. Time. It's time to pop one open with the opening question.
Ooh. He's getting better at that. He really
that was solid.
He's getting really
If
good
you
at
guys
it.
have improved at anything over 5
It's
years
drinking.
of podcasting, it's that.
It's drinking. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
No, I actually did try to save my drink. It's an energy drink for that specifically, but I already drank the thing because it's really good.
All right. The opening question this week comes from @Joe Beldner, and it's a half-point PPR redraft league. Who would you rather draft this year? Mike Williams, Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
There's no other context around it, so it's not like, oh, you're looking at these guys at pick 305. So
Yeah.
Because it's 0.5, I'm leaning Mike Williams, even though I think Pittman is probably I feel like Pittman is going ahead of Mike Williams and then Cortland Sutton.
Mhm.
But I'm going to take Mike Williams here because I'm looking at touchdown upside in a 0.5 PPR redraft league because, if Pittman gets 120 receptions, right? Let's say something really, really up there like that. Mike Williams is at like 90. That's only a 15-point difference across the entire course of the season. So
did you just do that math that fast in your head?
Yeah,
You're a freaking nerd.
I mean, I have all the monitors plus the one I'm on right now to all do data work. So
okay, that's fair. You're still a nerd.
Sometimes mental math it works out, but anyways, that to me is like the big kicker. Like 30 extra receptions is only 15 points across the entire season. What it's going to come down to is touchdowns, though. A single touchdown is 6 points. Granted, they come in less bunches than the receptions will, but 3 touchdowns, I think Mike Williams can easily get more than 3 touchdowns than Michael Pittman. So I think I'm leaning a little bit Mike Williams, but that's ever so slightly over Pittman. And then Sutton's a bit further down. But what's nice is you could legit probably go Pittman, Williams, Sutton somewhere around 3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5, yeah.
Maybe 2, 3, 4, and that's honestly probably early for those 3 guys. So like 3, 4, 5, I'd be happy. Start running back, and then go Pittman, Williams, Sutton. I would.
Receivers.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that start of a draft, which is great because we're going to be doing a draft later today.
That's why I picked this question. It leads right into the bulk of the show. I'm leaning Michael Pittman here, and I saw a tweet about this earlier, but I don't remember.
I think I know exactly what you're about to bring up, Pat.
The Matt Ryan's number 1 target had X number of targets per year. Yeah. I saw that earlier, and I'm like, volume is going to be king here. And if you look at Julio Jones going back to 2012, when he played also basically a full season, he was hurt in 2013. He had 128, 163, 203, 129, 148, 170, and 157 targets. Seth, I don't even think you can do the math that fast, but it's a lot. That's a lot of targets. Targets are king.
I was only half paying attention, but yes, those all did sound like a lot.
Those are big numbers. It's a lot of targets. I'm going to take the number 1 option in a Matt Ryan-led offense, and I'm going to go Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
Damn it. That means I'm the deciding vote. And those were the 2 I was deciding between. Cortland Sutton is not in this conversation for me because we don't know who is going to be the wide receiver 1 in Denver. I think if it was definitively Sutton or definitively Judy, I'd be more comfortable with maybe picking Sutton, but we don't know. So I'm not touching that in this question. And Seth, the sucky part is you both took the points that I was going to make. And so I don't know who to pick here. Actually, I think Pat did it for me in the negative. I'm going to go Mike Williams because I trust Justin Herbert more than I trust Matt Ryan. I hate Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's an overrated quarterback, has been his entire career. You can
Wow.
fight me on that if you want to, but I trust Justin Herbert more than I trust him. And I agree with Seth on the touchdown upside that I think Williams has. So
Fair enough. I'm outnumbered. I don't hate it. I don't hate any.
I was
yeah,
honestly going to go with Pittman because of what you said.
Yeah, it's Williams and Pittman. It's 1A and 1B there. Sutton is not in the conversation. All right. We have a little bit of breaking news to cover tonight. Quickly, Seth, the news desk.
To the news desk.
I got to keep on this.
Fresh from the Fantasy Facts News Desk.
All right. Raiders coach Josh McDaniels doesn't feel comfortable making a prediction on Darren Waller's hamstring for Week 1 against the Chargers. This is kind of a big deal because Week 1 is still 2 weeks away, and they can't make a prediction on Darren Waller. Is he more hurt than we're led to believe?
I think so, from everything I've seen.
I mean, he's barely practiced. They're not comfortable making a prediction, not a decision, a prediction for Week 1. It's August 24th. Week 1 is like 2 weeks away.
We also did this last year with him where it was like, what was it? Like an undisclosed injury at some point. And he just kind of, like, he didn't really practice and he didn't do the preseason. And you know what? So what? Like, I don't think that my level of confidence in Darren Waller isn't being changed based on him right now. There is a little bit of like, all right, well, I hope he gets some reps and stuff like that. But I think you kind of get what you're going to get with Waller. I'm more concerned with the Raiders offense and just who's going to get the targets. As you mentioned, targets are king. I'm concerned with that. Right. Devontae Adams. But also news coming out is Hunter Renfro's putting starting DBs on skates against the Patriots.
That's not different, though.
It's not different, but what's different is Devontae Adams. And so what's left over for Waller, right? So now instead of it just being, his main competition being Hunter Renfro, it's his main competition is now Hunter Renfro and Devontae Adams, who Devontae Adams is an absolute
Abdullah,
stud.
because apparently Kenyon Drake is getting released.
That is also true.
If you draft Amir Abdullah this year, I'm going to smack you.
Nobody's saying draft Amir Abdullah. Maybe go check.
Don't get excited about him.
Maybe go check your waiver wire and then pick up Zamir White instead.
Okay, there. I can agree with that.
Zamir White is one to have on your watch list.
Yes,
I want to go so far. I want to go so far right now.
Put him on your taxi squad.
Is picking him up. Yeah, if you got him in Dynasty, taxi squad him. But I'm not locked into him right now. I honestly think it's the Josh Jacobs show, and I know so many people are going to be like, "Ew, Josh Jacobs."
No,
but that's what he does all the time.
I have so many shares of Josh Jacobs. I need it. I'm Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club. I need it. All right. Let's go to Miami. PFF's Doug Kied. I don't know. I'm sorry, Doug. You're probably not watching. If the Dolphins have brought up Mike Gesicki's name to other teams, is this where would it make the most sense for him to go if he gets traded? Or is this all smoke and mirrors because he's playing under the franchise tag?
This is smoke and mirrors. I don't know where else he would go or why they would be shopping him when they're wanting to get a full evaluation on Tua this year and figure out if he can actually run the offense. You want him to have the most weapons to be able to do that. Why the hell would you get rid of your tight end that he's comfortable with?
To get him off to get the franchise tag off your books, though. That's what it would be. But and it would have
he's
to be
a tight end. How much is the tag worth?
Good question.
Good question.
I mean, Pat's going to look that up because I can see him already jumping into it. The bigger question for me, though, is you have to pay Tyreek Hill. You have to pay Jalen Waddle. You're going to have to pay Tua if Tua becomes your guy. And, I mean, thankfully, they're not paying for running backs because that room is just kind of a mess. I mean, granted, they did bring in Chase Edmonds, but what?
I said hot.
It's a hot
that running back room.
It's messy. And if they do want to turn the corner, they have to pay on the other side of the ball. It's not just fantasy football. You need defenders to be a decent football team and special teamers. So to me, I think it's more of a financial question than a team fit type of question.
So Gesicki is making $10.9 million on franchise tag this year.
Yeah.
And if I recall, was he starting the conversation about whether or not he should be designated a tight end or a wide receiver?
If he is, then this conversation makes a lot more sense. If he's not, I don't feel like.
Yeah. So all right. So this is from a CBS Sports article. Gesicki lined up in the slot on 412 snaps last season, the most among all tight ends. He also lined out wide on 218 snaps and was an actual tight end on 140 snaps. Now, the wide receiver franchise tag this year is $18.4 million. So there's a big jump in money there.
That's a big jump.
Tight end and wide receiver.
Yeah, and maybe Miami thinks they have something with Durham Smythe and Hunter Long. You know, that.
This is for Durham Smythe, not for Hunter Long. Just to be very clear.
All right, enough with tight ends. Hit us with more news.
No, that was it. It was just Waller and Gesicki tonight. Unless I missed something.
There was breaking news while we were kind of shooting the shit pre-show. Now I got to find it on my phone real fast. Taran Smith is likely getting an MRI on his left knee after exiting Wednesday's practice early.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I know. Well, when we were talking pre-show and I went, shit, that was why.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, at least being a Cowboys fan, I've gotten used to Taran Smith being injured, so it's just gonna suck. But I don't think it's gonna temper too many of my expectations for the Cowboys going.
Quick, just a quick update. These are, I don't know who these people are on Twitter, but he apparently Taran Smith looked fine walking out of the facility after practice. Okay. No limp and not wearing any sort of aid or device on his ankles or knees.
Fantastic. And we also got an update on Gesicki as well. They're shopping him because he can't block.
Fair.
Yeah, that's also probably why he was lined up outside 400 and something times, right? Like
they've known that since they brought him in. That's nothing new.
that's kind of like Evan Ingram, you know, like he's not
yeah, being but Evan Ingram can't he's not being either.
Brought well. Yeah. That's also why Gesicki is going is like the what 13th, 14th. He's a little bit further beyond the 10th tight end. I could see some people putting him there, but he's down there whereas Evan Ingram is like what 20th, 20 somewhere like that. Like he's down the list in terms of tight ends, and it's more so just a handful of guys. Definitely nobody like me that lives in or around New York, because the only thing you know about Evan Ingram is he will drop the ball.
Have y'all ever seen my Evan Ingram impersonation?
Oh no.
This is a family show.
I'm Evan Ingram trying to catch the ball.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's the same thing for Marquise Valdes-Scantling too.
Yeah.
Okay. Facts. All right. Seth, you want to set us up for the draft tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to jump into a 12-team draft. We're going to be drafting from 3 different spots. We're going to be drafting against bots. I know it's bots, but whatever. Sleeper does a decent enough job of keeping them moving. It's a lot better than auction, but we'll be doing a typical snake draft. We have 12 teams. It is a PPR draft, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flex positions, and we'll fill out the rest of the 15 rounds with bench players. I'm going to be in the middle of the pack, and I am going to be going with a 0 running back approach in the middle. Shane is going to be doing a 0 wide receiver approach at the end of the round. And Pat is going to be kicking things off with the 101, going with a robust running back strategy. So it's going to be Shane and Pat on the bookends, loading up on running backs, and I'm going to be taking advantage with the wide receivers in the middle rounds. Any questions before we get going?
This is where Shane snipes me all the time.
Well, I mean, you guys are completely on opposite ends of it.
I'll
so
still find a way to snipe him.
I'll find a way.
And this is where,
yeah. And in
it's
case,
0 wide receiver. You didn't say I couldn't go robust running back with it, so I might just take 2 running backs just to deplete the pool from.
Yeah,
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. All right, we're ready. We've got it queued up.
I'm
I am first. This is a no-brainer for me. It's Christian McCaffrey at the 101.
What?
Yep. You want to kill the sound there?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. No, look. For me, when healthy, McCaffrey is better than JT, and I will take my chances that CMC is healthy this year with a revamped. I mean, you've got a Panthers hat on.
Look, I'm not arguing with it. Okay.
Were you more surprised that I didn't take JT?
I'm more surprised that you didn't take JT. But what you're saying is 100% factual. If he is on the field, he is the best fantasy football player.
Yes.
No question about it in my mind.
Yes.
His 2019 year, like, it still baffles me. I still bring it up to this day. Like, he had 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing. And with those numbers, I think was like, just off of those might have been RB1. At worst was RB4. And then the mother trucker went and scored 22 touchdowns or something that same year. So, like,
he's good.
He's real good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It's a no-brainer for me, especially leading off with going with an RB heavy strategy. I'm going to take the guy that I think is the best running back on the board and the best running back in fantasy football.
Yeah, he's been absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
And if you look at the last 3 years, his median points per game is 26.8, meaning that 50% of his games are above 26. Now, granted, he hasn't played a lot of games in the past 2 years, but still, when he is on the field, he is the most dominant. That is the highest median points per game of anybody over the past 3 years. And even better, he has the highest 75th percentile, meaning that like 75% of his games, like a quarter of his games are above 33 points. That's, again, another great marker. And again, tops in the NFL.
Code.
Yeah. He did get beat out by Derrick Henry, who actually went number 2 off the board in 2021. Derrick Henry, in his 8 games, he actually had the highest median points per game because in those first 8 games, he went completely bonkers. All right. So,
after, I will do those. Seth, you take a second. I will lead up here. So after I went CMC, we went Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp. Seth is on the clock at 106.
It's easy for me. It's I'm going 0 running back, which means I am going Jamar Chase right here, especially because Jefferson, Kupp, and Chase all went right around that same block there, which those would be my 3 targets with this 0 running back type of approach. It would be Jefferson, Kupp, Chase in the middle. I'm not a huge fan because I do want to escape with one of these elite running backs, but I think there is a pretty obvious tier draft. I'm surprised Eckler did escape that far to the 107. He would be up in that group for me. And like that kind of like that elite tier. So I am a little shocked at that, but Jefferson, Cup, Chase, those are your targets if you're in the middle of the pack with a zero wide receiver approach here. And so
RB, dummy.
Zero RB. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean. And Shane, your picks were made for you by
I saw that. That's
by Kenny Riggleman.
Very tempting. I'm gonna go very off brand for the first pick, and that's Joe Mixon.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going on brand with Patty's boy, DeAndre Swift.
I like it.
For PPR zero wide receiver, that feels like a no-brainer for me to start off, especially because the damn bot sniped me with Kelsey. I was thinking about going Kelsey, but he got picked one pick before me, so they made it easy for me.
All right.
So I like both of those picks. I mean, Mixon, especially playing in what's going to be a high-powered Cincinnati offense. And if you're – well, I mean, I'm a Lions fan. I get to see all the stuff and read all the stuff and hear all about it because I'm local, or I was at least local. I'm on the west side of the state now. But we're now getting to see, DeAndre Swift and the Lions on Hard Knocks. And you get to see what everyone in the building thinks about this kid. And he has the potential to be something special. Just keep him healthy. Just keep him healthy. And feed him the ball because good things are going to happen when you do.
Yeah. So to your point there, Pat, I feel like with these, I don't want to call them smaller, but smaller, more agile backs that are good at breaking tackles and being slippery, a la Austin Eckler, they should be used like Austin Eckler. And not banged through the tackles as much as they are. We've seen fantasy success from players like Alvin Kamara and Austin Eckler when they've been in a split backfield with someone who's a beast of a running back and a plotter that is going to go and get the short yards, the between the tackles yardage, and then they're used as the PPR monster that they can be. DeAndre Swift fits that mold for me. And Team 7 has Eckler and Aaron Jones. Both those guys fit this mold for me. That's how you should be looking to use your running backs because it will extend the longevity of them and get you fantasy points. Yeah. So I have another question for you guys. Do you guys feel like Dalvin Cook is being slept on this year?
Not as the fifth running back off the board. Yeah. That's exactly where I would want him to be. I would take him over Harris. I would take him over Mixon, Swift, Kamara, Chubb, Jones.
I like him as they're a guy. I think I would take Mixon, and I would probably take Kamara. Now that we know a little bit more about Kamara's potential legal situation and not looking like a suspension for this year, I think I would take Mixon and Kamara.
Is that official, Pat? I hadn't seen anything about it.
No, nothing is official. But there's now thinking he might not be suspended this year because they pushed something back a few months.
Yeah, they pushed his court date back. The one thing I'm still nervous about Kamara with, though, is if like TMZ gets some kind of video. Yeah. Now that changes everything, and I feel like there's video about everything everywhere. And so that's the only reason why I don't want to take Kamara in the first round. But if I can get him in the second round with what he can do on the field, I feel a whole lot better about it. I'd rather take, again, the guys ahead of him, Swift, Mixon, Harris. I'd take all those running backs ahead of him right now, just because there's that little shred of possibility that a video comes out and boom, things are completely different.
Yeah.
So
we've already talked 4 minutes about this pick. You're going to keep going, Shane, or can I?
No, I was just going to do a quick shout out. Follow at Drew Davenport FF on Twitter. Dude is phenomenal with legal analysis.
On point,
So
yes.
that was the only thing I wanted to add to the Kamara situation.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a page out of what Shane was just talking about. And I'm going to do something because I haven't done it much in drafts right now. And I want to see how it's going to play out for me. I'm going to go ahead and take the young stud Kyle Pitts at 2.7 here over Mark Andrews. And that may be a mistake there. But I also feel, and 3 wide receivers went off the board as soon as I took Pitts, I feel more comfortable with with stud level wide receivers coming back to me in the 3rd round than I do about Mark Andrews or Kyle Pitts coming back to me in the 3rd round. And so I'm going to take my shot at him now, because if you're going 0 running back, I actually think I saw this in a tweet. If you're going 0 running back, it means you should have 3 top 5 players in other positions. And so right now I have Jamar Chase, who should be top 3. I have Kyle Pitts, who should be a top 3 guy. I feel really confident with that. And like I said, I feel like I can now hit more of the, the top tier of wide receivers as well.
I like it. I like that little nugget there about if you're doing kind of a 0 RB, getting top 3 guys at the other positions. And it looks eerily similar to a draft I just completed where I have Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts as well as Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. So I feel like I nailed that when you got potential top 3 guys at the other top 5 guys at the other positions.
I like that.
So after Pitts, we went Tyreek, Debo, Barkley, who I was hoping would fall to me, Evans. Now I'm up for a double dip here. And like I said, I'm going RB heavy here. And the next best running back on the board is Javonta Williams. I am not a fan of Javonta Williams.
I knew I loved you, Pat.
I can't bring myself to get Javonta Williams here or at 3-1, so I'm passing on him completely. I'm going to go with the first one I'm going to go with is Lenny Fournette. I don't know what it is about this guy. They're going to get him the ball, and I feel like Lenny Fournette and Rashad White
Lombardi Lenny, baby,
fit that mold that you were talking about, where you've got a complementary 2 running backs that complement each other well, right? So in Tampa, you have Lenny Fournette, who can pick up the short yards, who can catch the ball a little bit, but can also pick up, goal line touchdowns, things like that. And then they have Rashad White for pass catching. So I'm going to go Lenny Fournette there, and then coming back around. I know we talked about Dallas and the offensive line and Taran Smith, but I'm going to go Zeke here.
I love it.
Zeke was a guy that I was down on, but I'm coming more around on Zeke this year, and for a seasonal league, I will take a chance that Zeke is the guy that he was last year. He's not going to be the RB1, but I'll take the chance that he's going to be a top 5, top 7 running back this year.
Seth, what are his median points per game?
Zeke actually has a very solid floor. Like his 25th percentile, so meaning that only a quarter of his games are below that number, is like 10 points. The issue with Zeke's scoring is that his like 75th percentile, so like that's like his boom ability is at like 18 points. So the vast majority of his games are between 10 and like 20 points, which is great for it's great as a floor play, but it's not great as a boom play. I'm hoping that last season it was because of the PCL strain that he was dealing with throughout the entirety of the season. And this year he's coming back healthy. And with the loss of Amari Cooper and not really a ton added in the wide receiver room aside from Jalen Tolbert, I'm hoping that he gets a little bit more work in the receiving game because that floats everybody's PPR points. And Zeke has had some decent receiving totals in the past. So if he can get back to some of those, taking him in the 3rd is a really, really solid choice.
Yeah, I like it.
So after Zeke went off the board, A.J. Brown, the first quarterback, and Josh Allen went off the board, then Keenan Allen, then Mark Andrews. And so now I'm pretty much where I want to be in terms of my My strategy playing out, I would have hoped for one of those 5 wide receivers to fall to me. There is still T. Higgins there. I'm not a huge T. Higgins fan.
Do it.
And
Not buying the double dip, the triple double stack.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I already have
think
Chase, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and go back to our opening question, and I'm going to go ahead and take Michael Pittman here because he should be a massive part of his offense moving forward.
Ew.
I
I
like
do
I
not
like the
like.
Williams pick. Or the
I-
Pittman pick.
Yeah, I like the Pittman pick. I don't like this area of the draft that I'm being forced into right now. I know one pick that I'm going to make, so I'm going to go ahead and make it out of order technically and go Travis Etienne.
Mhm.
Again, love that PPR upside. I am a huge Travis Etienne fan in general, so I want him on as many teams as I can get. I sent you guys a message in the private chat. There's a player I want to take here, but I can't because of the strategy I am taking. So I am going to go someone who I don't draft a lot and take George Kittle.
Okay, I get behind that.
If healthy, George Kittle could be great.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think it's just the if healthy statement there. So
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
And that's why he scares me. But
Mhm.
I think at tight end, you've got to have one of the top 5 or 6 or completely punt the position. And everybody has question marks in the top 5 or 6, even though I still think you want one of those guys, but they all have question marks. Kelsey, he's getting up there in age. Pitts, it's his quarterback. Andrews, it's the offense. Kittle, it's the health. Waller, it's becoming the health and now competition. And I think we talked about this last time I was on y'all's show. There was one other factor, and I can't remember what, probably quarterback play, I think, was the other thing that we mentioned a while ago. So I'll go Kittle here and pray for health.
And quarterback play. And that's coming from a guy who's a big Trey Lance fan.
I'm not a Trey Lance guy. That's probably another reason I typically don't draft him.
Yeah. This next pick for me is just super duper duper easy. And Shane, you're going to like it based on the hat you're wearing.
Yep, this is the I love it. Great
so
pick.
Here's a fun stat for you. I do my own metric called percent offense, which is how much of that team's actual plays was this person involved in. So if it was a pass play, was he targeted? If it's a rush play, was he the one rushing the ball? DJ Moore came in 4th last year in percent offense amongst all wide receivers. And I got him as my 3rd wide receiver. If DJ Moore is healthy, that receiver room is not been changed much. Maybe a healthy-ish Robbie Anderson. But DJ Moore should just, again, be a monstrous part of that offense. He had 18.6% of that offense, which is pushing some running backs in terms of percent of offense that you would find in this range. And
he's finally got a good quarterback. Don't even say it, Seth.
It's the best.
He has a better quarterback.
I will take that as a compliment.
All right, so it's back to me at the 4-5 turn, and we're in that situation that we talked about in the opening question. I'm looking at guys. My initial strategy here was to go RB heavy, and I feel like I've done that. I feel like I can start to pivot away from running backs and try to start grabbing some guys some wide receiver 2s with some upside, potential wide receiver 1. So I'm going to go with 2 of the 3 guys we talked about in our opening question. I'm going to go Mike Williams, and unless I see somebody better, and I really don't here, I'm going to take a chance on Courtland Sutton that he is going to be the wide receiver 1 in Denver. And if he's not, because he and Judy are both right here. Judy's got an ADP of 49, Sutton an ADP of 51. So I'm going to take a chance here on Mike Williams and then Courtland Sutton and try to grab, again, wide receiver 2s with upside
Shoot,
or
he
a
literally
potential
went
wide
one
receiver
pick after
one.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll take my chances there with Williams and Sutton.
Yeah, which is going to be a really interesting setup for Denver of who's going to be the guy and who's going to be the guy on any given week. And are you going to be able to, one, predict that, or two, make any money off of it if you're doing like DFS or anything like that? Because they're just so neck and neck right now.
I'm sure some Denver stacks will pay off, but I'm going to avoid that for the first few weeks of the season.
I'm going to take the cheap option and go Wilson and KJ Hamler.
Yeah. By the way, is there a better week one stack right now than Baker Mayfield and DJ Moore? Like, I feel like that's going to be a hugely played week one stack in DFS.
I mean, it's not bad. All right, I'm going to.
Seth just can't say anything nice about Baker. I didn't know you were like this, Seth. It's really affecting our friendship right now. I said
he's better than Sam Darnold. Come on.
That's not hard, dude.
What more do you want from me?
All right.
And I'm going to make this pick since I know that
Jimmy Garoppolo could be better than Sam Darnold, and I hate Jimmy Garoppolo.
I love that pick, Seth, so much. I have so many Michael Thomas shares.
Yes.
So many.
Michael Thomas, yes, he's dealing with a, what was the quote? It doesn't look serious hamstring issue, which as soon as I was like, oh, man, I don't want to see another injury, like any injury tag even close to his name. I'm still really excited about him. I think the Saints offense is going to be pretty good this year. And he's a guy that could have wide receiver one upside. He's been the wide receiver one in the past. I think he has the ability to get into the wide receiver one conversation. If not, he's my fourth wide receiver. And, he's probably going to be a healthy Michael Thomas is at least a wide receiver two, if not much, 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 much better than that.
So before you make your pick, Shane, we got a couple of comments here from Kenny. First off, he's high on Freiermuth.
Absolutely love both of those guys.
Both of them way later. Those are guys that I'm looking at, the double-digit rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent call there. And then the next one just came in. AJ Dillon right here.
Dude, I'm totally thinking about it, Kenny. We are on the same wavelength on that. I do have a question for Seth and Pat, though, before I make my pick. Am I allowed to pick a receiver now? Have I qualified under zero RB or zero wide receiver enough?
I mean, technically you could not take one here and take one at 601, and then you really have gone.
Well, so that's what I think I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with a little bit of a stack, so I'm probably going to end up reaching, but I am going to go. We're calling this the draft if Shane doesn't draft these guys a lot. So
this will probably end up being your best team too.
Yeah,
probably. They're they'd probably win the ship, but I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts and then scroll down past ADP and take Javonta Smith to stack with him.
Okay.
Feels like a little bit of a reach for the stack there, but
it is. But I really believe in Javonta Smith.
Yeah,
I'm more surprised at the Hurts pick there than I am. I mean, Smith is a bit of a reach, yes, but if you're going for the stack, I mean, I was hoping Hurts would come back to me at 612. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was between Hurts and Kyler, and I was in the mood to stacks and I could have stacked Kyler with Rondale Moore or DeAndre Hopkins, but didn't want to. I wanted someone who I knew was going to have full season potential with Hurts. Obviously, A.J. Brown's off the board at this point. I really still believe in Smith, so that was the route that I went.
Okay, fair. Sound logic. I like it.
Thank you.
So I'm going to...
You can draft a running back now.
I'm debating if I want to stay even more and I already messed up a little bit because I didn't get a top tier quarterback, and usually if you're going to go zero RB, you want to get one of those top tier running quarterbacks in there to mix in with this. Mm-hmm. Which makes me want to either one, pick up AJ Dillon here or stay really committed to the
there's a great redraft quarterback for you there, actually.
I mean,
I fucking hate it.
there's a bunch of still really good quarterbacks here, which is why I don't feel too bad about doing this. My big push is, one, I could go with Kenny and take A.J. Dillon here, or I can make a little bit of a pivot here and attack another wide receiver, and a wide receiver that I think is going to be just an absolute just a steal at his ADP.
Do it. I want to see it because I have a hunch who it is, but I want to see what you think.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Am I going to do it? I'm not going to do it. That's not what I wanted to do.
Don't be a puss. Do it.
I should
do it. Do it.
I'm going to.
It's a mock draft.
There we go.
It's a mock draft.
Juju.
Yep. Same page, man.
Yep.
100% same page with you there.
Damn it. I was really, really hoping that Juju would make it back to me here. I really like that.
Yeah. And what's funny is as Shane was talking about his terrible Hurts and Javonta Smith stack, I was thinking, well, with my next pick, I'll probably go with either Juju or Amon-Ra St. Brown, and they went back-to-back at 6'6" and 6'7". Mm-hmm. I think they're both a decent pick there. What's interesting, though, is A.J. Dillon is still hanging out there. Nope. Kenny, apparently nobody's listening to you, Kenny, not even anymore. The bots. I'm sorry.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
I love A.J. Dillon this year.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
A.J. Dillon is 6'12", so now I really have to start looking around. I'm tempted to go Russell Wilson for a little Denver stack here because the wide receiver room, tight ends. At this point with tight ends, I'm waiting. And Kenny, like you mentioned, I'm looking at Freiermuth. I'm looking at Komet. I'm looking at some guys later on.
Has to take one of them. Way ahead of ADP.
Yeah, I don't really need another running back here, so I'm down to wide receiver, and I don't really like what I said. Darnell Mooney, Rashad Bateman. If we're talking wide receiver twos with upside, I guess I'm going to go probably the most polarizing wide receiver this offseason.
No, don't do it. No.
Yeah,
no,
I got to do it.
You're an idiot.
You were going to take him, weren't you?
No, I was going to take the guy that Team 4 just drafted if I were you.
Darnell Mooney. Yeah,
I'll take my chances with Josh Allen over Justin Fields.
Yeah,
100% would have taken Mooney there.
I agree, but Mooney was 12th in percent offense last year, and I think that's only going to get better this year. Now, the viability of that high percent of the offense is not very good, but he should get just peppered and absolutely peppered with targets.
They have to be catchable targets.
That's what I mean. Like that, I agree.
Look, I don't hate Justin Fields that much. I agree with you. They've got to be catchable.
He also needs time to. Have you guys seen Chicago's offensive line?
It's bad.
Yeah, it's me.
It's bad.
It's basically it's the three of us.
Look, as long as I can play center, we're good.
I don't think anyone was going to put you at any other position, Shane.
Appreciate it.
I mean,
all right.
Shane probably, he probably played what? End, center. Guard, and tackle. Sat on the end of the bench, guarded the water fountain, and tackled anybody that came near it.
Wow.
No, go fuck yourself. I played center in 6th grade and was the best damn lineman in 6th grade.
The best 6th grader out there. All right, let me see here.
There's third graders.
It's like the Seinfeld episode where he's doing karate. Love it. All right. Anyways, I'm going to.
Kenny and I are on the same page here. Oh, we lost Shane.
Uh-oh.
Kenny and I are on the same page.
Shane, I didn't mean it. You can come back. We're only joking around.
Go cry for a minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
Kenny,
sorry. I'm sorry, Shane.
Kenny, I feel the same way you do about Gabe Davis. That is all. All right, Seth, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to finally take a running back here, and that's what's causing all the distress for me. I'm going to go with the player I think who probably –
I would take a quarterback here if I were you. He's staring me in the face.
Yeah, I mean, but there's three of them. I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna keep playing the game of there's 3 quarterbacks that I would still do, and that I still think are gonna be like maybe top 6 quarterbacks. My question is, do I go with Kareem Hunt, Kenneth Walker, and it's gross, Cordarrelle Patterson, Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary, like those are the running backs that I'm looking at right now. I'm not in love with really any of them, but now's the point where I'm just trying to swing away at things. I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt here. And I know he's asking for a trade, which could end up blowing up in my face. But I'm going to go with Hunt because I think he has standalone value as the receiving back for Cleveland. And then if anything were to happen to Chubb, he comes in and he's the number 1 guy there. So as much love as I have for Chubb, I like Hunt to take over as well.
Yeah, I'm really considering doing something extra stupid.
Do it.
Like really freaking stupid. Because I'm now that I'm thinking about it more, I'm regretting the Hurts pick more than the Smith pick. Pat, your little devil voice is just sitting in my ear. I'm going to do it.
As Shane's debating, I want to throw this comment in there too. A valid point was brought up. Mooney's assumed 140-plus target volume floor should be lowered because the offense is projected to install more designed runs, resulting in less dropbacks. I could see that.
I disagree because who the hell else is Fields going to throw to? Cole Kmet. That's the answer to that question, and there's nobody else.
I think that's part of it. I think part of it is just a matter of I think part of it's still what are those targets going to look like? And I feel like Darnell Mooney's done a good job with what he did have kind of given to him in the past year. What's he going to have moving forward? And so if we lower that 120, but it's plays that are designed to get him in space and he's able to pick up a lot of like yak yardage or something like that, or have the opportunity to bust them wide open. Kind of like a Odell Beckham or AJ Brown type of play where it's like, all right, we're going to perfectly design this to split the defense and have them run right down the seam and, get them with a quick, like 10, 15 yards down, boop, we got him. And he's out there. So I think it could lead to some bigger plays for him. But overall, I'm curious about what that efficiency is going to be. So,
yeah. So Seth, do you have a true catch percentage on Mooney?
I don't
anywhere,
but I might be able to pull one up for us.
Okay. I mean, the reason I ask is in 2020, his rookie year, he had 98 targets, 61 catches. Year 2, he had 140 targets, but only 81 catches. I'm going to chalk that up to quarterback play because it wasn't, if I remember correctly, Fields was in and out towards the latter half of the year because of injury. Could be wrong there, but I know, and obviously Fields being a rookie, like I don't want to necessarily downgrade Mooney's quality of target because of different factors like that. So even if he does have, let's say, I'm going to take you in the middle, Seth, and say 130 targets instead of 140 or 120, but then maybe increases that catch rate to getting 95 catches even. I feel like that would potentially maintain his value.
Yeah, so according to Player Profiler, just for the 21 season, he had a true catch rate 77.1%, 57.9% actual. So if you think about the true catch rate, that's which ones can he actually catch? 77%, which is the 84th though. So that's not that's not very good. But yeah, I'm gonna throw this one up there. But cheers, because we're all having a couple beers and I never spell anything correct. So cheers to you. Shane will hit with the what energy drink, right?
Yeah.
And look, Shane, you also get a shout out too.
I do.
Pat, stop clicking the button when I'm clicking the button. There you go.
Hey, thanks. All right.
right.
I've decided I'm going to listen to the devil in my ear named Pat, and I'm going to complete a stack here, which is so stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway, and go Brandon Ayuk and Trey Lance. So taking a second quarterback, probably too early. I will admit that, but
it's a 1 QB league, so taking a second quarterback pretty much at all is like whatever. Why?
Yeah. Because I regret the Jalen Hurts pick at this point and think that Ayuk and Kittle.
What's funny is I hate both of those picks because those were the guys that I was going to
targeting.
I was going to take both of them at 8-12 and 9-1. So yes, we joked about Shane sniping me. He did it.
I did it, motherfucker.
He did it.
Fucking did it.
All right. Oh God, this is
me into it.
This is gross on top of gross. You know what? F it. We're all doing things a little bit ambitious here. I'm gonna get a bit ambitious. Normally, I would wait on this player, assuming they would get back to me because we're still, we're at what pick?
We're in the middle of the eighth.
Middle of the eighth. So we're in like what, the 80 something 90th pick, somewhere in that range. I would probably wait for this to get closer to ADP, but I'm going to take a shot here because it's one of my favorite players and I've been talking about him for a while. And yes, I know a lot of people are going to be against this pick, especially in the 8th, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now. And I'm going to pick rookie Damian Pierce out of Houston.
Holy shit, put up Kenny's comment right now.
What did you do? There we go. Exactly.
As you drafted him. That was insane.
Pat, stop clicking buttons while I'm clicking buttons. Damian Pierce right here, go nuts. For upside. That was who I was talking about the whole time, Kenny. Glad we're on the same page. Great minds think alike.
Seriously, that was insane. Like, you said it, and I saw his comment pop up at the same damn time. Great job, Kenny.
And two of my quarterbacks just went off the board. So
yeah, I'm quite upset because I was looking at doing
third one, Pat. Do it.
I was looking at doing a Rodgers and Lazard stack. I'm really rethinking this. I guess at this point, looking at the quarterback position, there are some okay guys that are left, but there's not many left that have the rushing upside that I prefer. So I'm going to do it because I was going to take Lance and do Lance and you can't do that. I like Rodgers. I like the idea of a Rodgers Lazard stack there, but that can't happen. So I'm going to go Dak Prescott here. And I feel like Seth is not going to be happy with that because I feel like that's the guy he wanted coming back.
That was his third quarterback.
I was just pointing at you, Pat, but with only one finger.
Yep.
So
very specific finger.
Yeah, very specific. And now,
this just in: Taran Smith's ACL is intact after an initial review.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
So I do get a little mini stack here with Prescott and Zeke, but now I've got
Waller too, just for shits and giggles.
Not now. I gotta. Christ. I guess I still think I'm gonna. If my whole take on wide receivers, if I'm doing a zero, wide receiver or running back heavy, whatever, I've got to look at guys with upside. So I'm looking at wide receiver 2s with upside. I'm talking myself into Allen Lazard here. He's the de facto wide receiver 1 in Green Bay. He's tied to Aaron Rodgers. I'll take my chances that the volume is there and that the trust is there because Rodgers and Lazard have played together long enough.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot.
Not a bad play. So at this point, because my quarterbacks are gone and I am the only team without a quarterback and Shane's the only team with 2 quarterbacks, I don't need to make a play for Stafford, Carr, Cousins. Like I don't need to go for any of those guys right now.
Drafting quarterbacks just to mess with you.
So just to mess up the whole draft.
Exactly.
So
we're going to start seeing some of the weirdest stacks. We're going to see Stafford and Allen Robinson here. We're going to followed by like Kirk Cousins and Tyler Conklin, Irv Smith,
KJ Osborne.
I'm already completely set. My running backs and flexes my wide receivers and flexes are all set with my wide receivers. My tight end is set. My quarterback I don't need to worry about because I'm going to get a top 13 guy since Shane wanted to get all weird and take 2 quarterbacks. So I'm just gonna keep hammering running backs here, and this is the realm of they may not be good right now, but they could be good at some point in the season, and that's what you're trying to pinpoint with any of these extreme draft strategies where you're doing 0 running back or 0 wide receiver. And so for me, because I'm going 0 RB, I'm going to start targeting some of these running backs. I'm going to go. Oh, man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Ramondre Stevenson here because I think I can get the guy that I actually want a little bit later on. And I think I can get him at least next pick, if not.
Hey, look, a bot took a second quarterback.
Really? Why would you take Pat Mahomes and Matt Stafford? Stupid
phenomenal
bots. Okay, if you're in your regular league, chances are people aren't doing that.
So this is my longest running league. It's my home league. We just did our auction draft. It's a 1 quarterback seasonal league. There were not 1, 2 guys in a 1 quarterback league that
took 3 quarterbacks.
3 quarterbacks.
Holy cow!
That's just crazy.
2 guys took 2.
All right, I was joking about this earlier. I have to check real fast. Yeah, I'm about to screw with Pat. I'm taking Pat Freiermuth and Garrett Wilson.
The Freiermuth pick hurts a little bit because I do really like Freiermuth. The Garrett Wilson,
it was more the Freiermuth pick than anything.
Yeah, no, I've been more.
And Komet just went off the board, so it really worked out.
Now I'm really punting tight end. Seth might pick him here, but if he's really leaning running backs, he probably won't. But I got to see if this wide receiver is still on the board. There's one that I like. Let's see. Where are you? He might already be off the board. Go ahead, Seth.
Derek Carr also went off the board.
Yeah, I don't get why everyone's rushing for 2 quarterbacks here, but that's all right because I'm going to get my wide receiver and quarterback stack that I've always wanted anyways. So that's fine.
I highly doubt that.
No, it's Jameis. It's Jameis, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go with a guy with I would say some standalone value here. It's a toss-up between 2 guys. It's Alexander Madison and Nayeem Heinz at the moment. There's a third guy that I like in the mix also. I'm not going to take Madison here. I'm going to go ahead and go with Nayeem Heinz here just because I could see there being, again, another opportunity for him to have a really high target and reception total. I think he has a little bit of standalone value as well as they get him worked back into the mix. So Nayeem Heinz, and then Madison went off the board anyways.
Yeah. Boy, I was really once I started looking at tight ends, I was really hoping that Gesicki would make it back because of all the stuff him playing 400 plus snaps in the slot. Basically not blocking. He's not out there to block. He's out there to catch the ball. So I was really hoping Gesicki would be here because that would have been a smash pick at 10-12. So now, oh boy. don't really like any more of the tight ends here.
All right, well, you either start taking tight ends, or I'm just gonna like triple up on tight ends because apparently that's what we're doing in this draft.
That's the strategy. The strategies, yeah.
You guys should have known that I was coming on. There was gonna be chaos.
I just usually the bots are pretty good to play with. The fact that they have Mahomes and Stafford paired up, Murray and Carr paired up,
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go Hunter Henry here because I think he and Mac Jones have a pretty good rapport. There's not much else. I mean, New England's just a collection of guys.
You could really. I really like going uber late tight end. We can talk about that later if you guys want to.
Yeah.
But
all right, and then
it's the Patriots being also coached by a defensive coordinator working the offensive side of the ball. So yeah, I'm a little hesitant with all of the Patriots people, and that's with knowing that I have Ramondre Stevenson on my team also. Like I'm still hesitant with all the Patriots guys. That offense makes me nervous.
I'm gonna take a third quarterback, I think, just to screw with Seth more.
Good for you. Yeah,
I am gonna pass on a quarterback at 11-6 here, depending on who drops down to me. So
I have no doubt. I mean, I wouldn't take Cousins there. Like that's
why bother? I mean, you were just talking about Fields, so there's another great option for you.
I was thinking somebody else in that same draft class, if he makes it to me.
Boy, oh boy, I'm struggling here.
Take a quarterback. I know who I would pick if I were you here. It's really easy for me, actually.
Boy.
Pat, you're about to hit your 2-minute mark. Come on.
I know. I'm
chop.
Stop. I'm gonna take even longer now. You guys can eat shit.
I'll start stripping.
So I don't have this. I'm looking at Sleeper. I don't even have StreamYard pulled up.
I'm not even listening to you guys. Leave me alone. Man,
you'll just start losing viewers.
So I don't like this pick at all. I'm going to do it anyway. I don't like Russell Gage.
Ew.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, lots of views.
Ew.
Oh, Kirk Cousins off the board.
All right. What in the?
I'm going to take Darrell Henderson. If anything goes wrong with Cam Akers, he steps right into the main role. And there's also a possibility that he's just going to be in a split with Cam Akers. So that's not going to be great for either of the two of them. But considering I'm getting Henderson at 11 and Akers went in the fourth, the beginning of the fourth, I feel a whole lot better about taking Henderson here.
I'm really torn on what to do here. Yeah.
We haven't done one of these in a while, but off the board from Pat's Russell Gage, terrible pick, was also Sky Moore, Tyler Boyd, Kirk Cousins, Jarvis Landry. Then I took Darrell Henderson. George Pickens went off the board. Christian Watson, Isaiah Spiller, MVS, Julio Jones. And I do like the Pickens.
Pat.
Pickens and Gage were the two guys that I was back and forth on.
Yeah, 100%.
And you picked the wrong one.
It's a seasonal league. I'm going to take the guy. Pickens is behind too many other guys in Pittsburgh with a shittier quarterback. Russell Gage is behind Mike Evans, at least for the first few
Julio
weeks.
Jones.
No.
Is he
look, I'm not
Julio Jones.
Who knows?
I mean,
I think
they end up splitting the target share that's there, that's left empty by Godwin recovering from injury, and then Godwin comes in and surpasses both of them.
Yeah, I mean, Julio Jones is so old; he's pretty much going to be at the bingo halls on Sunday afternoon, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
No arguments from me here.
All right.
I've almost hit my 2-minute mark, and I have no idea who to take here. You know what? I'm gonna take one from Pat's book, I guess. No, I'm not, you dick. I'm going to go Rondale Moore because of the DeAndre Hopkins suspension.
That's a good pick. In the 11th round, that's a good pick.
Yeah. Damn it. Now I'm between 3 rookie running backs.
Ooh.
Go Ronald Jones.
Absolutely not. I will besmirch the name of Ronald Jones. I'm not sorry, Herms. I'm going to go in the middle of the two based on ADP and take Tyler Algier. I think he's got the best shot at actually starting. And he's my RB4.
I like Algier. There's just something about the way that he runs, though, and maybe it's because he's a bigger back. It looks like he puts in so much effort to
get moving. Yeah,
like and not just to get moving, but just like it looks laborious for him. And like I like him, but Kenny, you're a smart man, Kenny.
What can I see? I didn't see it.
I am going to. Oh, what the hell! You know what, Kenny? Because we're a show all about engaging with people. Boom! There we go. Isaiah Pacheco, it is right there. Oops, I just closed it. Pat, stop clicking buttons when I'm clicking buttons. Isaiah Pacheco. I was going to finally take a quarterback.
We're playing
there.
a game for the last 3 rounds. Sorry to interrupt you, but if you say that again, you guys both have to drink.
Okay.
I finished my drink like an hour ago.
Pat, stop touching buttons.
All right, I'm back on the clock after Pacheco went Gainwell, Rojo, Robinson down in Washington, Devontae Parker. It's back to me. I had identified 2 guys pretty quickly that I was comfortable taking with here, and I'm going to complete my my triple stack, double stack, whatever. I'm going to go Jalen Tolbert in Dallas, and then right after that, I'm going to go J.D. McKissick in Washington.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm going to go with J.D. McKissick because Gibson is apparently practicing with the special teamers. He is in some sort of doghouse. This is a PPR league. I will take the guy who is the pass catching back in that offense. I'm going to go with.
That's fair. The guys that I would have targeted that your 2 picks went 2 picks after you and 3 picks after you, and Jacoby Myers and Jahan Dotson.
Yeah. I don't trust Carson Wentz throwing the ball down the field.
I don't either. Can we just shit on Carson Wentz for a minute?
All right. You know what? Yeah. I'm going to play the game of let's
Carson Wentz right here.
No. God,
good.
No.
So
I'm going to keep going. Big bucks, no whammies, big bucks, no whammies, big bucks, no whammies, and bam, there's my pick.
I don't want Seth to draft a quarterback.
Damn it, Seth, you suck.
I've thrown in 6 straight picks at running back. I probably should have thrown a quarterback in there at some point, but I'm going to go with a wide receiver that's making a ton of noise in Romeo Doubs, and I am excited for it. And yeah, I would have taken Romeo Doubs in either of your guys' build, considering you guys went with, the running back heavy piece. So I'm stoked to have Doubs here in the 13th. After Doubs went Herbert, then Trevor Lawrence, who was one of the quarterbacks I probably should have picked any of the past 2 picks.
Yup.
Marlon Mack, who whatever, he's dead to me now that Damian Pierce is there. Kenny Galladay, who's been dead to me since he was a Lion. Mark Ingram, who I'm not going to say the mean thing I was about to say. And now it's up to Shane, and Shane gets to make 2 more terrible picks. And I'm pretty sure Kenny and I just became best friends. You want to go do karate in the garage, Kenny?
Interesting question here while Shane thinks from Zach. He has an Allen Diggs stack. He didn't get a tight end until very late. He went with Dawson Knox. Is that too much stacking? The answer there is no. Not when it's tied to an elite quarterback. It's not.
Especially especially when you're stacking a super late tight end like Dawson Knox, because Dawson Knox is easily replaceable if he's not putting up points with another tight end that you can get off of waivers, maybe a cheap throw-in trade, something like that. So right now you set yourself up for the potential that Allen is great once again, which I think everybody in this room and everyone listening and everyone around the world pretty much thinks. You have Diggs, who's probably going to be great all over again. And then Knox, if he's not great also, then you move on. You find another one of these tight ends, because any of these tight ends that are being drafted now, like the Higbees, the Smiths, Njoku, Fant, I mean, hell, even like the Henry Gesicki, Alberto, any of those guys are going to be cuttable at some point soon in the season if they're not producing, because there's going to be a tight end that will, that these guys will get dropped to go get. So,
Seth, I got a quick math question for you again, because you're my nerd. If you cut Knox's touchdowns in half, and we'll round down to 4 instead of rounding up to 5, with 587 yards and 4 touchdowns, does that still put him in tight end 1 territory or close with Knox?
You said 587,
He had 587.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
How many receptions did he have?
49.
I'd have to check real quick, because yeah, that's what is
probably
48 and 58. That's 90, 106, 4 touchdowns, another, what is that, 24 points? Yeah, so 130. Look at even Pat's jumping in with the math. So apparently Shane's the only one that failed math class.
Dude, I had to take Cal 1 and Cal 2 twice. So yeah.
So Kenny, you and Seth can go do karate in the garage, and then Shane, you also got some love with Nico Collins as another great pick. Nico Collins is a guy that I absolutely love this year.
All right,
trying to acquire him wherever I can.
I'm finally gonna take a quarterback here.
Take a tight
end. Jameis Winston. I don't even think you need to draft Deshaun Watson. That's just such a wasted pick, because he's just going to – unless you can put suspended players on your IR, which there are some leagues out there. No judgment on any of those leagues. But if you can do that, that's where you got to read your rules. If you can do that, then sure. Throw Deshaun Watson in there and maybe wait till the 12th if you can get past any moral, ethical reservations about having him on your team. But if you can't do that, he is a roster clogger for 12 weeks. And that's just like, you're going to be in such a difficult spot if you play that game. So to me, he is not even worth rostering. And then 2 of the other quarterbacks that I was going to try and double dip with went off the board with Mac Jones and Matt Ryan. And we'll throw in there a little Raheem Mostert love from Team 4. So Pat, you're up. And
we're going to finish up this draft. So I'm going guys that I think are just straight lottery tickets at this point in the draft. I'm going to go Wan'Dale Robinson. The Giants liked –
that's a good pick.
A lot of what they saw there. And then let's see who there he is. The other one here is Paris Campbell. I'm going to put a lot of stock into that Colts offense with Matt Ryan. So I will take Wan'Dale and Paris Campbell here to round out my team.
Oh, team 2 with Hayden Hurst. I like that pick a lot.
I really, 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 really love Paris Campbell. And I don't know if it's just my wishful thinking that he'll finally be healthy for more than 3 games or what. Because like those first couple games, you're like, he's a stud. And then all of a sudden he gets like a low shot and it just takes his legs out. And you're like, God damn, like he was doing so good. But I'm excited about Paris Campbell. I really hope he has a chance to do something great this year. And then I'm going to go just for you, Shane, just for you.
No way. There's
just
no
for
way in
you.
hell you're about
There
to
is.
do what
It
you're
is.
about
It's.
to do.
I'm already on it. There you go. For you, Shane.
Thank you.
The Baker
You
man.
also saved me. You also saved me from myself because I really considered taking a third quarterback just to be on brand. Okay. Damn it, Kenny, you son of a biscuit. Okay, Kenny, I'm gonna give you this last pick if you're there.
Oh, hold on. So we're going to go back to this. So Kenny did say don't sleep on Isaiah McKenzie. He's going to be the starting slot receiver for the Bills.
Yep. So, Kenny, here's my question for you. KJ Osborne or Isaiah McKenzie?
So while we're waiting on that, we got another one in here from Zach. Would Alan Diggs and Gabe Davis be too much of a stack? And apparently he took Waddle instead of Gabe Davis.
I would do that 1,000 times out of 1,000.
Yeah, I think you made the right choice in taking Waddle over Gabe Davis, especially at the point in the draft that those guys are going at. I'm not super high on Waddle, but considering where Gabe Davis is pretty much going, I'm just trying to find him. He went in the 7th round in our draft, and Waddle went in the 5th. 4.9. So I'd go Waddle over Gabe Davis anyways.
Okay, but there's the pick.
Yeah.
Kenny would go Osborne.
So if we were going to a 16th round, I would have taken Isaiah McKenzie for you, Kenny.
I like it.
All right, that was the last pick of the draft. So real quick, I'll run through my team. I went with an RB heavy drafting from the 101. I went McCaffrey, Fournette, Zeke, Mike Williams, Cortland Sutton, A.J. Dillon, Gabe Davis, Dak Prescott, Alan Lazard, Hunter Henry, Russell Gage, Jalen Tolbert, J.D. McKissick, Wan'Dale Robinson, Paris Campbell.
Not bad. I did a 0 RB strategy out of the 6th spot. I started off with Jamar Chase, followed up with Kyle Pitts, then hammered a bunch of what should be really great wide receiver picks in Michael Pittman, DJ Moore, Michael Thomas, Juju Smith-Schuster. Then I started just hammering running backs with Kareem Hunt, Damian Pierce, Ramondre Stevenson, Nayeem Heinz, Darrell Henderson, and Isaiah Pacheco. I am hoping that one of them can carve themselves out a starting role. If they can't, it's burn and churn through the bottom of the roster and keep trying to find a running back that I can start on a week-to-week basis. I also threw in Romeo Doubs there at the end because I think he's going to be very good for this Green Bay team, and maybe he becomes a trade option for me to try and get a starting running back. And then I completed 2 of my earlier stacks. I'm not sure if you guys noticed my Michael Thomas and DJ Moore stacks by picking up Jameis Winston and Shane's best friend, Baker Mayfield.
I like it.
So before Shane reveals, or let's go through his team again. From Kenny, great show. Appreciate it. We'll keep keeping on. Keep doing the good work. Thank you, Kenny.
Appreciate it, Kenny.
Kenny, it was a pleasure getting to know you. All right, so I went 0 wide receiver and started off Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift at the 112-2-1. Then I went Etienne and George Kittle, the 3-4 turn.
Oh, you went you did the double stack, triple stack with Lance, Ayuk, and Kittle.
That was where I realized I screwed up by taking Hurts.
Sorry, continue.
No, you're fine. Honestly, if I had not taken Hurts at 512, I probably would have gone J.K. Dobbins and no, J.K. Dobbins wasn't available. Sorry.
No, he was.
Right? No, he went 5-4.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. I can't read. I can do math in my head, but I can't read.
I probably would have gone A.J. Dillon instead of Hurts, and then I don't know who. I maybe would have stuck with Smith. But went Hurts and Smith at 5-6, then Ayuk and Lance at 7-8, and that is where I should have gone. Then Freiermuth, Garrett Wilson, Rondale Moore. So for a 0 wide receiver, I hammered the shit out of wide receiver. Then Tyler Algier at the 12-1, sorry, and then went wide receiver with Alec Pierce, Nico Collins, and KJ Osborne.
Solid.
There it is, folks.
Solid. Oh boy, shall we round out the show with my favorite part? My favorite piece of the whole show.
Your favorite is your favoriteest?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready if you are.
All right, we are going to run through these questions that were found on Twitter as quickly as possible. The first one was actually a tweet to me, so I wanted to include it in the show. It's from our friend at Leo Marugula. This is a Superflex Dynasty trade question. Would you give up the 108 in this year's rookie draft for Tom Brady and Keenan Allen?
Would you give up the 108 for Brady and Keenan Allen in this draft? If I am, it would have to be a draft day decision for me, because if like,
would it help? So he did mention, and I didn't put it in here, but he's in somewhat of a rebuild. He didn't say full blown rebuild. He said somewhat of a rebuild. And
no.
So Seth, while you're thinking on this, Shane's a hard no. My answer is the only way I'm okay with making that trade is if I can flip Brady and Allen for more picks, because at the 108, there's not really a guy there that I'm in love with, right?
Yeah.
Unless something crazy happens. But if if I can flip those guys for later 2022 picks, or even somehow get a 2023 pick, it is a super flex draft. So maybe you get a 2023 second for Tom Brady for a guy that's trying to win a championship or something. That's the only thing that's the only way I would make that trade, is if I'm looking to flip Allen and Brady.
I realized I was looking at it backwards, and I was like, I think I might give up Brady and Keenan Allen to get the 1-8 if like a Chris Olave falls there. But now I realize that he's rebuilding and would be giving up the 108 for Brady and Keenan Allen. In that case, I'd be much more hesitant in doing that. If I'm rebuilding, I want to go after younger players, and neither Brady or Keenan Allen are young in their positions. So that's a hard pass.
This is a definite draft day one, because if, again, a guy like Olave or Wilson falls, then you want to snatch them up with the 108.
Yeah, and honestly, I would even, if it's a draft day decision, I think for me too, but it's still a no, because I would commit to the rebuild here and go Jameson Williams.
If he's there, yes. All right, next from at Solomon Henry. This is Dynasty non-PPR, last roster spot upside: Denzel Mims, Tyler Conklin, Chris Evans.
Cut all three.
I believe I'm going to default to Seth here because he's the New York guy, but Conklin is getting some love from the Jets. I believe he's the starting tight end in the Jets.
He's no CJ Uzoma.
No, but if we're looking for upside, I'll take Tyler Conklin out of this group here.
Yeah, I'll go Chris Evans in Cincinnati, even though he had a couple opportunities late last year and didn't do a ton with them. I think I'd still rather the upside of a running back than Mims is just completely buried on that roster. And even when he wasn't buried on that roster, he didn't do much. So, yeah. Are you giving me the hurry it up?
Yes, he is.
I'm giving you the Gus Malzahn offense of hurry this shit up.
From at FF Reality Check, half point PPR Dynasty. Who would you rather roster, Javonta Williams or Cooper Kupp? I'll go first. Cooper Kupp. Javonta Williams is not a guy that I'm.
That is giving into the hype of Javonta Williams. Give me Cooper Kupp.
Yes. All right. So all right. From at the FF Mercenary, 12-team Superflex, half-point PPR Dynasty League. Who would you rather have, Isaiah Pacheco or Romeo Doubs?
Dubs.
Yeah, I'm going Dubs too.
Yeah, agreed. That was an easy one. And final question from at Dynasty John. Who finishes as the tight end one this year in PPR leagues? Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, or George Kittle?
Dalton Schultz.
Stop it.
Shut up.
I almost wanted to put the field in here, but I figured you would say something stupid like that.
I'm going Travis Kelce.
I'm going to go Kyle Pitts. I think he's here.
I just don't trust his quarterbacks. And I love Desmond Ritter, but I think Mariota's going to start
Ritter-
longer than we want him to.
Ritter
Yeah.
looked real efficient last week, or this most recent game. I loved watching him throw the ball around. He looked good.
Who, Ritter?
Ritter, yeah.
Dude, I've been on Ritter for 2 or 3 years now. Just go ask Joel Verzosa on Twitter. He and I have been the vice president and president of the Desmond Ritter fan club.
That's funny.
Yeah, I easy money's on Kelce, but I think you're better off betting against him, just in the sense that
I trust his quarterback the most.
It could be anyone, but I think the easy money's on Kelce. So, I honestly, getting all 4 of them aren't bad options. With Kittle as the distant 4th option out of these 4 people. So.
All right,
And look, we even finished with 3 seconds left.
all right, look at that. And you even talked a lot. Yeah, Shane's over here. Wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up, B.
All right.
You better
That
wrap
does it.
that gavel up, B.
No, if you were an Auburn fan probably 6 or 7 years ago when Gus Malzahn was actually a good coach, you did this a lot because you knew he was going hurry up and didn't do it enough. Shut up,
Is your
Seth.
story
All
over?
right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Will you remove him from the show, Pat?
Okay.
Oh. I muted him too. All right. That does it for the show this week. Really appreciate you coming on, Shane. Thank you so much.
Sure you do.
I do. Seth doesn't. I do.
I
Well,
do
look,
also. We have a
make sure-
good time.
Give Shane a follow at FF Shane B. Give the show a follow at the Fantasy Facts. I'm at Dynasty_Pat. Seth is at FF the At Home Dad. Use our code FAQS, FAQS, at Underdog. 100% deposit match up to $100. Use our code FAQS at fantasydata.com and receive 20% off your subscription purchases. Let's see. Ooh, Kenny's been with us from the beginning. One last comment from Kenny. Mariota made Delaney Walker a top 5 tight end. He'll go Kyle Pitts with me. It looks like Kenny and I are going to go do some karate in the garage as well.
Damn it, Pat stole my best friend to end the show. Damn it.
Karate party.
When you say it like that, it sounds weird. And
That's
with
what
that,
supposed to.
good night, everybody.
Catch you on the flip side.